Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today, doing a little something different. We're going to be working on a project. Actually, this is for a viewer and a gentleman I've been corresponding with for a while. Never actually met him, but very much respecting the work that he does. And that is Ron Brees. Ron is a plane maker, fine tool maker, kind of for the woodworking world. He makes custom hand planes. He makes custom chisels. He does some really beautiful work. If you go out and Google Brees planes, you can find all kinds of stuff out there on the internet. He actually lives a little over an hour north of me up in Thomaston, Georgia. And like I said, I've never met him, but we've been corresponding with one another for quite some time, probably 5 or 6 years now. And he contacted me about a month or so ago. Want to know if I could help out with a project that he has, a problem he has. So in his shop, in his plane making work, he uses a surface grinder, and he has a 1959 Covel number 10 surface grinder that he uses. And he was doing some maintenance work to it or whatever, and pulled out the cross feed nut, or nut and screw, and realized that, hey, the threads are getting really thin on this screw. It kind of in the sweet spot, in the part of it that where you really do most of your work. So today, what we're going to be doing is making Ron a new crossfeed screw to go on there. And I'll zoom you in here in a minute and kind of show you this and show you some of the features of it. All right, so here is the rod that goes in here. It's got a brass nut on here that you see spins. He sent that along to me as well so that I can test fit everything. So you got a shoulder here. This is 1 inch in diameter. This area here is all 7/8 inch, 875 thousandths, and we've got a thread in here. And if you look, you can see down here on the end, this is a fully formed, these are Acme threads, so they're flat on the top. This is the fully formed screws down here, but when you get down here in the middle, it's almost like a knife blade on top where that thing has worn, and you can see, you know, you got quite a bit of backlash in there. You get down here on this end, I guess it's just a thread gauge and no backlash at all. So, you know, that's a little bit of a problem for him. He's wanting to get that out. And really the only thing you can do is just make a new one and get all that stuff out in there. This is 10 threads per inch. This is left-hand threads. As you can see, you know, righty-tighty should go in, right? No, going out. So left-hand threads, not a problem. We can turn those easily on the lathe. I see down on this end, what is that? That is 3/4 of an inch, and looks like 1/2 inch. I'm guessing, yeah, 1/2 inch thread on the end down here. So we've got a piece of stock. He actually sourced me a piece of stock and sent it along to me, and we're going to be making a brand new rod out of this piece of metal here over on the metal lathe. And with that, let's get to work and get this thing knocked out. We're going to start by facing this side, and then we'll come in with a center drill and put a center in there so we can extend this out and support it with the live center. So to start out, we don't need to take much off of that, but we'll get a little bit out of there. Feed in just a touch more there and get a good clean face cut all the way to the center. There we go, back that out. And we'll bring our center drill in. There we go. Now I'm going to loosen this up and put a mark on there about where I need to chuck it at. Tighten that back up and support it from that end. There we go. So to start with, we need to turn this down. It's 1 inch right now. We need to go to 3/4 of an inch and need to come in 7 inches. And I've got a mark there where we need to go to. So come in here and touch off. go ahead and just put that in as 1 inch on the digital readout to start out with. We'll fine tune it after we make a cut. And we're gonna make about 100 thousandths cut down through there. We'll get a good measurement on there and continue cutting. Right there. See where we're at. All right, I got 25 thou to come off of here. Now, one thing, a little trick, when you're trying to hit a number pretty much right on, notice I just took 100 thousandths pass. That put a lot of back pressure, a lot of tool pressure on this cutter. Now, if I was to make another 100 thousandths pass, it would probably take off exactly 100 thou. But because I'm going to have only got 25 thou left to go, what I want to do is I want to do this in 2 passes. I'm going to make about half of that. Let's just say 10 or 12 thousandths, and we'll go down. I'll probably just do 10 thousandths because it's probably going to take a little bit more than that because we're not going to have the same amount of tool pressure on there. And then I can get my final measurement, and then I should be able to dial in with confidence on that last number to hit my number right on. So that's my game plan here. I'm going to do 10 thousandths. I'm just going to dial in 10 thousandths on the lathe here and let her come down through there. We'll get our final measurement after that, figure out how much more we need to dial in, and we should be right on the money. Just a little trick. You learn these things with experience, guys, and I'm trying to pass that along to you. All right, and because we are trying to be super accurate here, I'm going to make this measurement with the micrometer rather than the dial calipers. And let's see what we got. 12 thousandths left to go. Yep, so I'm going to dial in 12 thousandths, and we should be right where we need to be. 10, 11, 12, right there. And I'm going to measure this without moving that in case I do need to fuzz off just a little bit more. I don't think I will. Nope, we're right where we need to be. You know, I didn't want to drag that tool out across this thing and put scratch marks in there on my final cut. So I do need to kind of hit this shoulder back here, get a nice shoulder. That looks good. Right on the money, 750 thou, according to the micrometer. All right, we need to turn down a little piece on the end 1/2 inch and thread that. Let me get set up for that, get my measurements, and we'll do that real quick. All right, we are going to turn this 1/2 inch. We need to go in 3/4 of an inch. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in here and touch that with that tool, and I'm going to zero my digital readout on the length, and now I can come in 3/4 of an inch, which is 750 thousandths. Just read it right off the digital readout, and that'll be my measurement. So I'm just going to do that to right there, and I'm going to zero that out. That is my depth of cut. And to give me a visual marker, we'll just come in there and do that as well. All right, we're going to 1/2 inch, so it's roughly 100 thou. Another 100 thou. Take a measurement here with my micrometer. Got 32 thousandths to go. So take about 15, about half of that. Take another measurement. And my digital readout's still set and it's still reading accurate, so I'm just going to dial it into 1/2 inch off of the digital readout. Should be right there. And this should be the final pass. All right, now I'm going to go to 0 on my Z-axis going in, which will give me my depth, and I'll face that back side off, and that should be right on the money. Here we go. There we go. Now let me get a chamfer cutter. We'll chamfer, break those edges. Break this one ever so slightly. Same thing back here. There we go. All right, we got our lathe set on 13 threads per inch, which is what we're after. Got things slowed down, should be set up for threading. I'm gonna come in here and just barely touch off there and feed in a little bit more. We'll do a scratch pass here, check our thread pitch, and it's ready to go. "13 threads per inch, that's just what we need." All right, put a little lube on here. Rinse and repeat. I'm just eyeballing this, and we'll cut those threads until they get kind of sharp on the top, and then we'll check it with a nut. Probably at least one more pass here. I'm just doing 5 thousandths now on my depth. I'm gonna do a spring pass there. No, I'm not feeding in. I'm just taking a light pass, and we'll check it. All right, let's get us a nut. Try it out here. And that's gonna be just right. Very good. All right, I think we got this side all finished up. All right, I've got the part turned around now in the lathe. We need to face off this back side and then turn that down to 7/8. So we got a pretty rough cut there to have to get out. It's gonna take a little bit, and I need to shorten it up a little bit. I got a mark on there about where it needs to be at. We'll just work it on out there. we're cleaned up there, but I've still got probably about 1/8 of an inch I need to take out of it. All right, and go ahead and run our center drill down there as well. And here we go. That'll do it. All right, so catch up here. I swapped my chucks out, put my 4-jaw chuck in over here, the one that has the brass protectors on here to protect that shaft, and also so that I could put an indicator in here and get this running perfectly true. With the 3-jaw chuck, there's usually going to be some run out, so we did that. We got to turn this down to 875 thousandths, which is 7/8 of an inch. There's a 300 thousandth shoulder right here. I've kind of scribed a mark in there where that needs to be. And yeah, we need to take 1/8 of an inch off of here, 125 thou. So let's just get in here and go to work. We're just gonna go ahead and cut that 100 thousandths off first pass here. Should leave us around 25 thou on the next pass, and I'll do that in 2 passes, just like before. We'll take about half of it off, get a good measurement, and we should be able to dial right into it. And I got a mark on there. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I can. And we'll stop just shy of that. And let's see where we're at here. All right, we're about 907. So we got, what is that, 20 or 32 thousandths to take off of this. Let her roll back down through here. Last pass here, just fuzzing a little couple thousandths off. This should be right where we need for it to be. 875 thou. And I'm going to check my dimension again. See where we're at, and we are right where we need to be. So we'll face this on the back. Need about 7 more thousandths on that. Right there. There we go. All right, guys, I think we got the machine set up. So 10 threads per inch. I've got my thread dial down here set on 10. That is AE, so we're in A and in E. These are left-hand threads, so I need the carriage moving away from me. So on my machine, that's this selector here. I got it moved over. I've got it selected on the one to turn the threading rod in here. So I think we got everything set up down here. Now, because these are left-hand threads and we're moving out instead of in, my compound, instead of coming in this direction, is coming in this direction. The other thing is because these are Acme threads, not 60-degree threads, but instead of being a 60-degree thread, an Acme thread is 29-degree thread and has a flat top on it. So instead of setting my compound to 30 degrees or 29.5 according to the book, we've got it set to 14 degrees, which is half of that 29, 14.5 degrees, yeah. So we got it set on 14 degrees. So everything is ready to go there. So I think we are ready. Now I am using, I'll show you a close up here in a minute, but I'm using a one of these lay flat type inserts in here, and I happen to have a Acme, a 10 pitch Acme insert already. I have turned one of these before sometime in the past, so I'm just using an insert that I had off the shelf. If I didn't, I could have either ground one out of high-speed steel or ordered the right insert, either way to do it. But because I have the insert here, I'm just going to use that one. So I think we're ready to go. Let's go over here and cut some left-hand Acme threads. Now to make this job a lot easier for me, I've got a dial indicator set up on the compound. So, you know, we're setting the cross slide to 0 every time, and you really can't read the numbers on this because it's going on the hypotenuse of an angle. So you're actually, to move it 1/1000th of an inch, you're actually having to move it more than 1/1000th on the dial. I'd have to do the math to figure it out exactly, but it's an easy enough fix. You just put an indicator on this and this becomes your gauge. So as this is moving, as you're moving it in at an angle, it's measuring how far it's moving in straight in. So, and I've done the math and I figured out what my depth of cut needs to be for this. And there is a formula for Acme threads. It's pretty easy. It's you take the thread pitch and it's plus 100,000. So that's going to be the total depth. So the amount we'll move in will be half of that. So we're doing 10 threads per inch. So when you say the thread pitch, it's going to be 1 inch divided by 10, which is going to be 100,000ths of an inch. Easy math there. Plus 100,000. So it's going to be basically be 100. Or excuse me, plus 10 thousandths, not 100 thousandths, plus 10 thousandths. So it's going to be 110 thousandths. Total, half of that's going to be 55 thousandths. So once we zero out our tool on here, we're going to need to dial in 55 thousandths, and that should be the correct total depth that we need to go. So there we go. We are ready to go. Let's fire the lathe up. And I've got my speed slowed down somewhat because I'm moving away from the headstock. It's a little bit not quite as nerve-wracking. So what I'm going to do is I've got a mark on here. This is where we're going to start. It doesn't come all the way to the shoulder. It comes out 2 inches, and looks like I need to actually come back in a little bit. We are touching right there. I'm going to zero everything out on the digital readout, and I need to, I like my zero to be kind of up at the top there, or close to it. There we go. We got a 0. We're going a total of 55,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just feed in about 5 thou to start here, and we will engage our half nut and let it go out. I'm probably just going to go a little bit. I want to double check my my pitch. So let's let a number come around here and let it roll. And I'm just going to pull that out and get my pitch gauge. And we are 10 threads per inch, so we're ready to roll. So let me come back to I zeroed the digital readout right there, so I can go back to the same spot each time. Oil back on here, or oil on here. Go back into 0 here, actually to 5 thousandths, and we're ready to go. All right, take her for a ride. That's just cutting down the same path we just cut. It'll start cutting again right there. And we'll take it all the way out to the end. All right. Got back down to 0. And we're going to take another 5 thou or so. Wait on a number to come around on our dial. Back to 0 and another pass. All right, we're going back down to our 0 there. And I'm going to dial in about 3 or 4 thousandths and let it roll. We are getting close down to our bottom. I'm on 52 right now. So I got one more pass. I've been taking about 3 thousandths of an inch in each time. As that you go deeper, that chip gets wider, cutting on that leading face. At its final depth, you've got a chip that's 55 thousandths of an inch wide. So usually start off with a kind of a hefty cut, but as I get down in there, I will take lighter and lighter cuts, and 3 thousandths seems to be doing so. We're going to make one more pass here, and this should be the depth, and then we'll go back in there with a scratch pass, a blank pass right after that. So let me dial in my 55 right there, and we'll wait for a number to come back around on the dial. That should be our final depth right there. And like I said, we will do a scratch pass down there in the bottom, just a blank pass, just to make sure we got everything cleaned out good. You'll usually see a little bit of a cut on this scratch pass, just from tool pressure and so forth, but just one scratch pass ought to do it here. All right, so let me go into my depth, and we'll wait for a number to come around, and we should be ready to roll. It's not cutting much, that's what we want to see, but it is pulling a little bit out of there, you can see. That's just probably the flex in that bar. You know, we get in the center there and things are moving around a little bit, so this is just a light pass to get everything trued up. And that's it. So I'm gonna go get that nut over there that he sent, and we'll run that up on there for a test fit. Tell you what, I think what we'll do is just take this brush and try to clean all those chips out of there real good. All right, let's see what happens here. Of course, these are left-hand threads. Remember, this nut, it does have some wear in it in itself, but it's pulling up on there really nice. Not as much backlash as I thought there was going to be in that nut. That's good. Really hardly any at all. But it is screwing up on there really nice. I'm just going to go all the way on just to make sure. All right. We'll let the machine assist in taking it off. I like it. Well, that turned out really, really nice. I'm very excited how that looks. Hopefully you can see this in your screen, but you can see how sharp those threads are. Once you get over here, they kind of become full formed. In the bottom, they become full formed. Here's the new one. You see we got nice full formed threads all the way up and down. And like I said, the nut, even though the nut has some wear in it, I don't feel hardly any backlash on that at all. I was kind of concerned I might have to make a new nut for this thing as well, but I think we're just going to go with this one. If down the road he needs one, I'm sure we can make one of these as well. But that little piece of bronze there won't be cheap. So anyway, mission accomplished. I think we got her done. Well, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think this is going to fix Ron right up on his, was it a Covel number 10 surface grinder. So he should be back in business, ready to roll. Hopefully so with this. And yeah, fun little project. Hope you guys enjoyed coming along for the ride. And with that, guys, that is going to be a wrap. As always, thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thumbs up, comments, appreciate it. As always, leave those comments and stuff down there. That really helps out with my analytics on the channel. And hit that bell icon to get notifications when new videos are posted. And with that, that will be a wrap. As always, thanks for watching.